I believe it has to do with how much we healed the grief. I would have not been able to think about that when I was 20 or 22 or 24. I could not, because I was still grieving. Now, usually what happens is that we not only grieve the person who left or who's lost, can be a pet too. Some people are really attached to their animals, and I totally understand that. Now, not to compare the value of loss or the measure of loss. That's very individual and subjective, and I cannot judge that, and I'm not willing to. So when we're grieving, we're also grieving ourselves, who we were in those times when they were still around. Or someone who loses, let's say, their car, repossessed. And then they are not only grieving the car, but all those moments, how they felt as they felt who they were while they were driving the car or owning the car or actually having borrowed it from a bank or leasing company. So it is not only that we're grieving someone who's lost, but we're grieving the moments that we believed still to have to come. And we're grieving ourselves, who we were in those settings, in these situations, in these family surroundings with the loss together.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. And I like the encouragement to think of it from these different perspectives. I know that when I divorced my second husband, I realized that I had to grieve the loss of that marriage. Because it had not worked out the way I had thought it was going to. So I think that the awareness of there being so many types or ways that we do grieve is in itself really great, because it seems to me that it's about a loss. Whether it's a loss that happens, we had control over, but often the loss is something we don't have control over. And that, I would imagine, makes the grief even tougher or deeper maybe, because the loss of control is hard for humans. Let's face it.
Let's face it. The control is an illusion.
Oh, I agree with that. And I guess maybe some of my perspective is coming because I've had death in my life that's been sudden, but also death that has taken a couple or more than a couple of years to unfold. And so I've experienced both of those. And I think the loss of control is definitely a big thing for people. I think that even when we're not talking about death, maybe we're talking about a car that got repossessed, and that can make you then not only feel grief for not having your prized possession, but also grief for the experiences you won't get to have, but also maybe around now you're a person that couldn't keep up the finance, so you're disappointing yourself. And there's a whole, I think, intricate interplay of emotions that goes on behind the loss, right?